Hey, good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack here in Orlando, Florida now. Escaped from Lake City where there's no power, at least there wasn't when I left. Now down in Orlando, there's a lot of work to be done. I got to go through a lot of video and other data to see what we captured from truly devastating Hurricane Helene. The Southeast is not going to forget this. Certainly the name will be retired. Billions of dollars of damage inflicted, homes destroyed, lives changed forever. That's the hard part of this. It really is that we get very excited to be able to put our talents to use and to put our tools to use, but that means that something bad probably has to happen in order for us to do that, and that is exactly what we're seeing here with Helene. And I want to start off, though, with something at least, hopefully on a positive note, that the science has come a long way. It's not perfect, but this tweet here from Eric Webb, the very first official forecast for Helene, once it became a potential tropical cyclone, and that's why they started doing this. Remember how long it took, seemingly, to get going? So that PTC designation allows these first graphics to be generated, not just the graphics, but the products behind those graphics, and that was pretty darn good with the overall forecast. As you can see, under forecast a little bit on the intensity because there was not a lot of confidence in the intensity guidance at first, but the track forecast, that was the very first one, and then this is the reality of exactly what happened. That is remarkable, you have to admit. Again, that's the first forecast, and this is what eventually happened. Making landfall, high-end Category 3, Category 4, something like that. Other people will determine all of that for the future. But one thing, hopefully, Helene has taught us, again, category really doesn't matter at the end of the day when compared to the broad scope of impacts. And we had the absolutely frightening storm surge. I'm going to show you a little bit of video that we captured. And then, of course, tremendous wind damage, many millions of people without power. But now we're seeing the catastrophic flooding in the western parts of North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, down into the Piedmont, and there's no category for that. This is a tropical storm now, or depression, or whatever the heck it is at the moment, and we don't label it anything more than just that, and yet it is producing catastrophic damage in parts of western North Carolina and elsewhere. So again, these overall, understanding the overall scope of what we have to deal with here. I mean, what are you going to do if you're in Asheville? You've been seeing the video coming out of there and some other places, Greenville. My son's supposed to have his bachelor party. He's getting married next month. Congratulations to Nathan and Lexi, his soon-to-be bride. That got ruined. And yet they went up and they took some video, they showed me, and they're like, well, yeah, Greenville, South Carolina, not in a good way, so they're bailing out, heading back home. Other people having to deal with much worse than that, obviously. And what are you going to do? You're going to just move everybody out of the way? You can't. Anyway, I don't want to start dragging this out into a long commentary and monologue, but boy, oh boy, sometimes you just hate to be right. And as loud as I was, quote, screaming about it several days ago, that this would be a generational hurricane, you don't like to be right, but at least we knew that we were on to it, and maybe that helped a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, very good forecast from the National Hurricane Center. They're going to be the best in the world, and once again, they have proven it. So here is Helene right now, the remnants now getting involved with that upper level low. Over here, there's the remnants of Helene. We've had tornadoes, again, the torrential rain, and that is all after the truly devastating storm surge that impacted a huge area of the Florida West Coast up to the Big Bend. I mean, just wow, right? What can you say? It leaves you speechless. Then up here, we've got, what is this? Isaac, Hurricane Isaac, a little tiny I in there. I for Isaac, right? And then this is H-I-J, Julia, or something like that. Joyce, sorry. It is Joyce, Mark. And a weak tropical system here moving through the Caribbean that might try to do something when it gets in this neck of the woods. We'll see. And even more dust coming off Africa. What a weird year. Late September looks more like late August. And this will certainly bleed over into October. and we probably have still a long ways to go before the season is over, but we knew that. That's nothing surprising. It shouldn't be. This really tells you the scope of what all is going on. Just tremendous. Look at this, heat advisories down in southeast Florida. But this is the area where all the flooding is happening, and the tornado, the severe weather threat, etc. The reds, that's your flash flood emergencies or flash flood warnings. Some of those are emergencies. And again, just goes to show you the scope of these tropical cyclones when they come up and they move into the southeast and they do what they do. Huge impacts for millions and millions of people. We got to respect these things, and we have to pay more attention and be ready to the best of our abilities. Certainly, we have a hurricane problem in the U.S., and I think that goes without saying, right? So I want to show you a couple of videos here. I don't want to show all of them, so I'm still processing, but I'll show you a couple of them. Let's take a look at Bayshore. This was in Tampa. Some of our back-end team members, now they, I guess, moved to the front end, right? They set these up. I don't even know what the heck day it was, but they really helped Greg and me out. This is down in Tampa, and this really shows you the evolution of storm surge down there and how lucky Tampa Bay and vicinity was, because if this had made a direct hit and you had driven that big core of the hurricane force winds into Tampa Bay, it would have been just an economic and societal nightmare. This was bad enough. And I know this floods pretty easily, so you don't have to comment about that, I know. But this is remarkable to see the storm surge roll in and get as high as it did, several feet above ground level there, into the homes. We've seen other videos on social media. But this is the power of our camera systems placed exclusively for this purpose, to be able to track what happens. It serves the purpose of showing people what it looks like out there. The National Hurricane Center can tune in, other scientists. Really remarkable stuff there. I just wish it didn't come with such a heavy cost that people are having to suffer and deal with it. I also want to show you the Cedar Key cam. This is down at the waterfront. This too is really remarkable. Here it is early in the evening, and the surge comes in and finally comes up. And I know it's really hard to see, but the water is just below the camera. And I think I can do this and get my telestrator. So that's that restaurant that's in the shot so many times, but there's the water coming in right there. And the camera was up at about 8 or 9 feet, something like that. And the water literally comes in, touches the camera, and it actually didn't move, which was really nice to see. We did a really good job strapping that thing down. Surge finally goes out. People are able to drive around. And then watch what happens as we get to daybreak over here. The restaurant and the waterfront area of Cedar Key, very much still there. I'll fast forward it so we can get to daybreak. Remarkable. I can't believe that it was still there, to be honest with you. The water came up anywhere between 9 and 11 feet. I think 9 point something feet officially. I got to go look and see for sure, but that these buildings all made it, I'm pretty impressed with that. Many more around Cedar Key did not, and certainly the inundation to these buildings was just terrible. But the camera held exactly where we put it, didn't even budge. Very, very excited about that, because this is what we need to do. We need to be able to study these things, and we can do so using these camera systems. I'll show more of these in the coming days, so stay tuned for that. So the pattern is full, as they say. I guess it could be, maybe if something else could get added to it. But we have our Hurricane Isaac up here. We have Joyce out here, a tropical storm. The remnants of Helene over here. This is John again. After making a landfall, came back out, became a hurricane again. Kind of unusual. This is another tropical system that we have to watch. And then we're going to need to watch this area for potential development in about a week or so. And in fact, let's just go back over here and go to the National Hurricane Center homepage. That would be helpful. And you see lots and lots of activity out there. And if we expand it to the 7-day, yep, all kinds of stuff to watch in the coming days as we get into October. So that brings me over to the GFS, which is what I wanted to show you here. Scrolling it out to the next several days, not a lot to worry about. And this is 5 days out about right here. Let's go out to a week, and we'll end it there. So in a week, we might have another hurricane out in the open, not quite the subtropics, but certainly the open central Atlantic. And then GFS has got 3 different areas of energy down here. We'll see if something tries to consolidate. Kind of part of the Central American gyre setup, but also that energy coming in that I showed you from a tropical wave kind of getting tangled up down there. But when you see this high pressure, and there it is over the southeast, it's going to be hot and muggy, and all the people that are without power and all that cleanup that's going to be going on, it's going to be steamy through this area. So please keep that in mind with your relief efforts. But this kind of pattern tends to lower the pressures down to the south, so we'll have to watch that in the coming days. Nothing to worry about right now, and that is just fine with us, I am sure. So I want to just tell everybody thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in, for supporting us, watching on YouTube. Our back-end team did a tremendous job getting everything ready to get this all out to the public. I know there's a lot of different chase streams and individuals and network news to follow, and it's just neat to be able to kind of fit in there, even if it's just a little bit, and to see our channel grow. We appreciate all the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, it doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe, and when we go live or post a video like this one, if you have the notifications on, you'll know all about it. So really, though, a deep, heartfelt thank you to everybody that has joined the channel, whether it's this year, today, yesterday, or many moons ago when I first started publishing way back in 2006. That's when I first joined YouTube, believe it or not. And huge thank you, because this is what helps to fund everything. Not just the money, but the ideas. We've met several people over the years, many dozens of people actually, that have contributed ideas in addition to the money that makes this stuff happen. All of the equipment that we put out, every bit of it, crowdfunded through Patreon. And we do want to invest in some new equipment, so these new memberships, these new supporters will help with that. We're testing some new camera systems that are going to be the next generation of how we do this live stuff. And we will continue to push the envelope and bring you in-your-face, immersive, but also very important and something that has utility, something that can be useful. We want our cameras to serve a purpose more than just objectifying the weather. We're not just trying to gawk at these storms and people's misery. We want to take something away from it that we can learn for educational purposes, the social science, and then the hardcore meteorology, and even engineering, and who knows what else, right? And these camera systems and the weather stations we put out, all of that really helps with that. So very, very much appreciate the support that we get through our crowdfunding. And look, it's not too late. You can join up. Just go to patreon.com and look for HurricaneTrack. See, it's right down there. It says Hurricane, T-R-A-C-K. That's the brand. That's us. I'm the face of it. Whatever, kind of tired here, but you get the idea. And we'd love to have you part of our community, and we appreciate that community very, very much. So yes, I will be putting together more video. I'll be releasing it as we get it. I got to recover the equipment over the next day or so, and we'll keep you posted along the way. Have a great rest of your Friday. As always, thanks for tuning in. From all of us at the HurricaneTrack family, I am Mark Sudduth. Going to sleep well tonight. I'll talk to you again more over the weekend.